Hello, guys. So I wanted to talk about something very, very dear to me. So y'all know I like stirring the pot, and I just love it because it holds a lot of truth to the things that I say. And one thing that my spirit guides have been telling me lately is to speak up more. So that's what I've been doing. And I've been ruffling a lot of feathers, One thing that I said when I started my fitness journey, when I started my weight loss journey, was I said I was never going to forget how the world treated me. And I said, one day I'm going to speak my truth about it. I don't care if it pisses you off or not, So I'm going to start by saying this. When we have this conversation, it's about health, correct? If it's truly about health, but we know, and if you've ever been a bigger person, you know how this world is oddly obsessed with bigger people. Oddly, just obsessed. Now, I'm not saying these things to make bigger people feel like they shouldn't work on themselves. They shouldn't try to better their health. They shouldn't try to exercise. They shouldn't try. I'm all about self-improvement, health, and it just doesn't start with your size though. But we live in a society that is so obsessed with size. So it doesn't just start with your size. It starts with spirituality. It starts with your eating habits. It starts with exercising. It starts with taking care of your mental health. It doesn't just start with size. And so every time I have this conversation, it's constantly being brought up about size. I have people in my comment section right now making it about size. And this has been about health the whole time. Okay? Health, right? Because that's what people are so concerned about is health, right? You're so concerned about health. Oh, but you draw the line when it comes to professional sports and men making money. You draw the line with that. But over here, you want to make it about, it's about the health. It's about the health. It's about health. It's about health. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's about your obsession with bigger people. This is my thing. When I was bigger, like I said I was never going to forget. I said I was never going to forget because I wanted to help the women that they're still in that space. And, when you're 358 pounds, you deal with this microaggression from society that so many people want to downplay, or they have the privilege because maybe they have a good metabolism, or maybe they just always were in shape. They never battled with their mental health or suicide or things like that to where they ever had to really experience, that level of microaggression at that size, right? And so as a Black person, though, you should understand exactly what that feels like when you walk into an environment and you just know you're not welcomed. You're not welcomed. And big people feel that all the time. I don't know how many times I would walk on an elevator. I don't know how many times I would walk into a lunchroom. I don't know how many times I would walk into a restaurant or or even if I went to like fast food, right? And I would get like a salad or something like that. It was the energy exchange that you would feel from people that don't know nothing about you. They don't know nothing about you at all. And then it doesn't even start with the world, you guys. Like, it's family too. Like, I was suicidal and I had an uncle that said, "Oh, so you just let yourself go. So you just don't care." And it was crazy to me because I was trying, but I was losing. And it wasn't that I was necessarily losing. I was struggling. And all I got was criticism. I didn't get help from people. Nobody was genuinely trying to help me. Like, all they wanted to do was talk that shit and judge, right? No constructive criticism really came from it. It was just judgment. That's it. Judgment. And I said, when I win this battle with myself, right? Because I hold myself accountable. When I win this battle with myself, and really it was mental health. It was mental health that I was struggling with. I'm sorry that you're perfect and you don't struggle with anything in your life, but I've been through some things. So, the trigger of my weight loss, the trigger of my suicide was my health had deteriorated from a knee injury. My health had deteriorated from rape. But you know what this society likes to do? Judge you based off of your size. And yes, I'm getting upset because I feel so passionate about it. It's like, if you don't have the experience, why are you being so judgmental? The world needs more compassion. The world needs more understanding. It does. And it's crazy now because, I fit the standard, the whole slim thick or whatever. But I ain't forgot shit. I haven't forgot what it was like to be treated as such for simply being a bigger person who was struggling. But you know what? We live in a society, we live in a world that loves to criticize people that struggle with things, demons, addictions, and it doesn't even start with just weight and food, like alcohol, drugs, shopping addictions. But you can't wear those things all the time. Some of those things can be easily hidden. But you pick on bigger people. You judge bigger people. You criticize bigger people because they can't hide the things that they're going through or the demons that they're dealing with or the demons that they may be facing. So you just judge them. You judge them. You crucify them with judgment. That's all you do. And you're not really trying to help. You're not trying to help. And, I can see this and over the years, I've even had to show compassion to women that grew up slim, that were considered to be underweight. Because I didn't have that experience. But I started to listen to people and I started to try to have compassion for their experience or, some of the things that they face as well. And it's like, why can't that be extended to bigger people? I don't get that. I don't. And like I said, I use the example of the NFL. If you're making it about health, you're not making it about size. It doesn't matter if it's in sports and you're getting paid or not. It doesn't matter if it's about health, right? But this world has an obsession with just size. That's it. And it's acceptable. You being at a bigger size is only acceptable when you're making money from it. That's it. So it's like, do we really care about health here? Do we really care about it? Because listen, there could be a linebacker on the football field weighing 400 and some pounds right now that could literally die from a heart attack. But I guess it was all in good favor because he was making that bread though, right? Right? He was making that bread though, right? So is it really about health? Is it really about health? Is it really about health? And that's why I'm saying, I'm not even saying that the world that we live in is obsessed with just bigger people. The world that we live in is obsessed with size. So it doesn't matter if you're a bigger person or if you're smaller, you're underweight. Or if you're just slim, you're straight, you don't have curves. The world is just really obsessed with size. And then you get labeled things that maybe you want to be labeled or not. I get labeled promiscuous. When I was bigger, I was labeled lazy. It's just, this is the world that we live in, and I don't mind calling it out. And I said I was not going to forget. When you're bigger, you're called promiscuous. No, when you're thick, when you fit the thick aesthetic or the thick body type or whatever like that, you're labeled promiscuous. For years, I was a virgin. But according to my shape, my size, according to others, I was promiscuous. I was an escort. I was out here having sex for money. When I was fat, when I was bigger, I was just lazy. I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything. I was just lazy and I was just content and I was just comfortable with being that size, and I didn't work out at all. The whole time I worked out. Honestly, you guys, I don't remember a point in my life, even when I was my heaviest, where I just didn't put any effort into exercise because I grew up an athlete. I grew up an athlete. I'm used to 3-hour practices. I'm used to 6 a.m. conditions. I'm used to being in camps where you're literally just training all day, and you train from morning to evening, and you have lunch in between. Like, that was my life for years. Camps. Like, what? So, but because of my size, people would make that assumption now. She's just lazy. And I'm over here literally hanging on by a thread because of some mental issues that I was dealing with that no one knew about. No one even cared to ask, though. And that was another thing. No one cares to ask what you're going through. They just make assumptions, because this world that we live in, it has an obsession with size. I know there are even slim women out here that are underweight, that are battling mental health issues and things like that. But, you know, they're praised. They're praised because they look healthy, or they fit the standard based off of society. But they're not even healthy mentally. They don't care. So I hate it when people try to gaslight me on this app, on YouTube, and try to make it seem like what I'm saying is ridiculous or it doesn't make any sense. It makes a lot of sense because I lived it. I'm not speaking from a place that I have never lived or did not experience. And then I also listen to people. I'm in the business of self-improvement. I talk to women. I mentor women of different sizes, different goals, different inspirations that they have for themselves. And, you know, there are women that are out here trying. We're not all just lazy because we look a certain way. And, you know, do we live in a society that allows you to actually self-improve and work on yourself? Or do we just shame and criticize people that don't meet the standard today? And that was the thing. When I was bigger, I was trying every day. And, you know, when you're trying, like, sometimes you make mistakes, you mess up. You're not always perfect. Sometimes you revert back to old habits. And then you have to pull yourself out of that. But you're still trying, though, right? Like, you're putting in the effort, right? And you guys, I have failed so many times. Like, I in order for me to even get to this point, like, I failed a lot. I failed a lot. But, you know, the society that we live in, it doesn't even allow failure. You know, even if you fail, you get criticized. And you're literally trying. They only care about the end results. So now, I've been on YouTube for 10 years, and I won't shut up about this either. I've been on YouTube for 10 years. People now pay me attention because of my aesthetic. They now pay me attention because of my aesthetic. And then there's a catch to that too. Like, I've talked to people from certain, I would say, in the industry of entertainment, late night talk shows and stuff like that. And they're like, you need to put your body out here more. You need to show yourself more. You need to put your body out here more. You would blow up if you would just put your body out here more. You mean the same people that didn't accept me when I was bigger? Been saying the same, majority of my career online, I've been preaching the same damn song for years, to the point where it's just repetitive at this point. I've been saying the same thing. So now that I finally meet, I guess, the quote unquote end result for some, not all, but for some, thanks to BBL culture, by the way, now I can put myself out here and sell what I've been selling, which is self-improvement, because that's what I've been selling. I don't get it. That's all I do sell. I don't even know how I don't even know how badges work. I don't know how badges work. I don't. I'm sorry. But you know what? I don't even care. And that's another thing. I don't care about the money. Like, that's another thing. People think I'll be money hungry. I don't even care about that. If I'm really living in my purpose, money is always going to come. Money will always find me. I don't need to be tipped for every little thing that I say, because I really believe in what I'm saying. I'm not just saying these things just to say it. And another thing is, like, I really feel like the experiences that I have had in my lifetime was for a reason. It was for me to speak out about these things. You know, But because of this perception that so many people have of me from a screen online, they automatically make the assumption that this is about some vain opinion. And it's just like, it's shallowness. And you know what, you guys, within the last 24 hours, one thing that has been confirmed to me is the microaggression that I did receive. I wasn't insane. Like, it's real. And I feel so bad for bigger people, because it's like, damn, like, people, like, you could just leave your house and someone is judging you just because of your size. Just because of your size. And, you know, the insecurities that I had about my weight, they're actually valid. Like, when I was that size, they're valid, because the judgment and the criticism is real. And they'll gaslight you and try to make it about health. Oh, it's about your health. It's about your health. It's about your health. No, it's about how uncomfortable it is for you to see a bigger person. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what they're doing. You don't got to have a backstory. You are uncomfortable with bigger people. You're uncomfortable with bigger people. Just say that. Keep it freaking real and stop trying to make it seem like it's about health. Because if it really was, when you saw the linebackers, right, you would have been like, oh, I'm so concerned. He weighs 400 pounds. You know, we don't want him to just fall out on the football field, right? Because it's about health, right? I don't get it. 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 The internet is up in flames about Lizzo because, you guys, I can honestly say that Lizzo contradicts herself a lot. Okay, one minute she makes the announcement that she's trying to lose weight, then the next minute she's on TikTok eating Oreos with mustard. Come on, like. And I'm not saying it from a judgmental standpoint, but it's like, if that's the message that you're choosing to put out here on a public platform as a celebrity, and then you contradict it by sitting on TikTok and eating all of this stuff that you know is not really good for you, and you know, not only that, you know the media is going to come in and crucify you because one minute you're promoting, you know, trying to get help or healthy, and then the next minute you're eating Oreos with mustard. It's like, come on. And that does not make sense to me, you guys. It doesn't. Because when I was truly taking my health serious, there were just a lot of things I had to stop doing. You know, like, I had to stop doing that. And I love Oreos, but I haven't had Oreos in years. So, and I'm not saying that when you start off like that, you're perfect. Because you're not. You know, but I don't know. It's like Lizzo, her actions contradict herself a lot. Her actions do. And I think that's why people have an issue with her. I don't think it's just necessarily just her size. Majority of it is. But sometimes it's her actions too. And I think a lot of people get upset about that. And that's just me being honest. I don't expect for Lizzo to just wake up one day and just go vegan. I don't expect for Lizzo to wake up one day and just eat salad every day, you know, but to sit up and eat Oreos on TikTok, a whole package, you know, like there's a difference, you guys. There's a difference. Now, if she was having a few Oreos because, you know, she had been eating clean, trying to work out and do all of these things, I think it would make a difference for her to have Oreos. I do. So I just don't think Lizzo is a good example, and I don't know why people keep using her. I think Lizzo needs therapy. I think she needs that more than a gym, and that's just my opinion because she's battling with criticism in the public eye for her size. She's battling food addiction. She's battling, I would say, mental health issues. She's struggling. And instead of people trying to encourage her, they just keep, you know, crucifying her with criticism and judgment. And so, you know, I see a woman that's really hurting. I don't see a woman that is really happy. And I know what it looks like to fake confidence because you're receiving criticism. I did it for years. So I just don't like using her as an example. I want better for Lizzo, actually. And it doesn't just start with her size, though. Honestly, it starts with her going to therapy. Lizzo is fit for her to be able to, yeah, she is, just like the linebacker is fit for him to be playing professional sports. If we're not making it about size, though, you know? So, I don't know. But we're not about to make it seem like your size doesn't affect your weight. And you guys, when I say I keep the same energy, I keep the same energy. I say this with plastic surgery. I tell girls, if you're petite and you're out here getting 3 and 4 rounds of BBL, that's not good for your health either. I keep the same energy, because you carrying that extra weight after your BBL, or you getting these big boobs, these massive boobs on a frame that just wasn't intended for all of that, that's bad on your health as well. It's not always just fat though. And that's why I said it's selective. I've been singing the same song, and it doesn't just start with bigger people that are overweight. Like, if it's truly about health, then your size does matter for your height. It does. It does. Because the more weight you carry, it's harder on your joints. It's harder on your respiratory system. It's harder on you. Like, it's harder. It's harder. Like, I'm never going to downplay that. But it doesn't just start with bigger people who are overweight. It also starts with girls that are out here getting plastic surgery. Are y'all ready to have that conversation? Because when you're ready to have that conversation, let me know. Because I've been saying that. I'm like, you can't be 5'3" and then you're out here getting 3 rounds of BBL, and then you're getting these off the chart boobs. Like, it's not good for your health, because all that extra weight is weighing on your, like I said, your respiratory system, your joints. And as you get older, it's going to be harder for you to just do daily tasks. So yeah, size, it matters when it comes to your health, you guys. It does. It really does. But it doesn't matter when it comes to fitness, because there are bigger people. Even when I was 358 pounds, I was out here running and jumping and doing all type of stuff. Like, but it wasn't necessarily healthy for me to be at that size. No, it was not. So when I look at the NFL player, when I look at Lizzo, when I look at people that are at an unhealthy weight, it's the same thing to me. It's the same thing. Like, there's no difference. It's just, I don't like it when bigger people are constantly singled out and criticized, and some of them are actually trying to self-improve. But they get criticized based off of their size, as if they're not even trying to self-improve. And that's the issue that I have, because when I was trying to self-improve, I had no support. I had to get my support from my online community. Thanks to you guys, I got way more support on here than I did in my everyday life, unfortunately. So at the time, that's what it was. Now that, people see your success, I have family members calling me, asking me things like, can you help me with keto? Can you help me get started with keto? Or can you help me with what I need to do in the gym and exercise? But when I was actively doing these things before results were really coming in, nobody was asking me anything. They didn't care. So it's crazy. My zodiac sign, I'm an Aries. Sorry, we get a little, fiery sometimes. Cause I don't play that. Like, y'all, I just don't like that, y'all. I don't like that. Like, keep the same freaking energy and stop being fake. Cause that's what it is for me. Like, it's fake. If you have an issue with Lizzo's size, you should have an issue with these girls that are out here getting these BBLs. 3 and 4 of them on a petite frame. It's the same thing. Keep the same energy. If you have an issue with Lizzo and it's about health, you should have an issue with a linebacker that weighs 400 pounds. It's the same thing. Stop being fake and selective. That's what I don't like. Because for me, it's truly about health. So because it's truly about health, because I was 358 pounds at one point, because I was going through health issues, like my back was hurting, my knees were hurting, my knees would swell, my ankles would swell. I would constantly retain water and things like that. I don't care if you're playing a professional sport or not. It's not easy carrying around that weight, and we're not about to downplay that. So, honestly, when it comes to your journey with improving yourself, take it one day at a time, but actively try. That's all you can do. And that's all that I did was every day I chose to self-improve and make small changes. And I transitioned into this. I didn't just start hardcore yo-yo dieting. I transitioned into this. I made it a lifestyle. To the point where now there are a lot of things that I just don't consume because I know it's not good for me. And then as years go by, there are just things that I'm like getting rid of even now at this stage. Like I'm really cutting back on cheese and sour cream and all of that because I know that it's not good for me. I'm really starting to look more into my salt intake, things that I wasn't really looking into now. And it's because I'm at a point in my journey where I got to pay attention to the small stuff. I have to be more intentional with the small stuff, the smallest of the smallest details when it comes to my fitness and my diet. But because of my size, I have people on here, I have people on my YouTube IG story that don't think that these are things that I'm not actively doing because of my size. Like I said, this society has an obsession with size, passes judgment on you because of your size, and it's honestly ridiculous. Yes, salt can really, and that's the thing in my family, and this is another thing. In my family, the women, they never paid attention to salt, and as I get older, I know that I'm going to have a low sodium diet. I know that. And it's only going to get worse with age. I am salt sensitive for sure. And I notice the more water that I drink, the less water retention that I have. The less salt that I eat, the less water I have. And see, when I was and I've been struggling with this lately. Y'all know I'm going to keep it real with you. I've been struggling with this as of lately because when I did the keto diet, you could have way more salt because you weren't eating carbs, right? And so now that I had to switch my diet again because my body went plateau, I have to go back to low carb, stay away from wheat because I did a allergy panel test, and the allergy panel test told me that I was allergic to wheat. So now it's like, okay, I have to stay away from wheat. And I recommend to any woman that's out here, this is game changer for your healthy weight loss journey or just your overall fitness and health journey. When you get an allergy panel test done, it tells you foods that you should stay away from. And I highly recommend because that could be game changer in your weight loss journey if you're trying to lose weight, or it could be game changer in your weight gain journey, depending on, what side of the fence that you're on or what your goal is. So I highly recommend that. Black women are not told to get these type of tests done because, it just, taking care of ourselves just wasn't a thing to do. We were always taught to sacrifice. We come last. And that's another thing. Like, we live in a world where everyone wants to judge Black women for being a certain size, but it's like you guys require so much of us as women to where we can't really focus on ourselves like that. Men don't want to build anymore, so a lot of us are building on our own, which means if we're doing all of this building on our own, when do we actually have time to take care of ourselves? And I think that's realistic. Men can handle way more things than we women can. We weren't meant to take on all of those things as well. So it's like from a social and cultural standpoint, like you have to consider that as well as a woman. Like, are you giving yourself space to even be able to look after yourself? Or are you just being a caregiver, a wife, and a nurturer, and you're neglecting yourself? Like, that's something that you also have to look into. There's so many layers. But you know what? People don't want to look into that stuff. They don't, because it takes work. That actually takes compassion. It's so easy to judge. All you got to do is glance and make an assumption, just like that. It actually takes work for you to look beyond a person's appearance and maybe think about something that they may be battling with or dealing with by showing compassion. And it would have been nice for me to get some compassion when I was at my bigger size. And like I said, I'll never forget what that experience was like because it was trauma. Like, it was horrible, you guys, on so many levels, from family to just complete strangers to how people treated you. I tell you guys all the time, no one held the elevator for me. No one held doors for me. Like when I went to the gas station, like I literally would be going into quick trip. And you know how those doors kind of swing open and close? No one would hold the door. Like I don't know how many times there would be a person walking in front of me and the door would just slam in my face. Just like, it made me feel like, damn, I must be invisible. I must be invisible. I must be just so invisible to people. And, you know, it doesn't surprise me that I'm in the business of like helping women self-improve and work through these experiences because they're real, you know. But of course, if you got health critics out here who feel like, you know, they stuff never stunk, or, you know, they were just perfect, you know, I will never forget how I was bigger and I had these experiences and this type of treatment. I was big and people were, wait, is this Caitlin? Sorry, sis. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hey, Caitlin. She was another girl that I mentored that has a very similar story to mine. And it's like, y'all, big people were beyond, no, I was big. People were beyond rude and acted like I was less than human. Yeah. And then you guys don't even understand the other side to that. Like, you go out into the world and you're treated less than human. And if you have a food addiction, right? If you have a food addiction and you're an emotional eater, that's going to make you go what? Go home and emotionally eat. And this is why I have conversations like this. You know, yeah, at that size, people are rude. People are mean. But you have to understand that when you go home, you have to love yourself enough to not feel like the only comfort that you can find from that experience is through food. And it's hard. It's hard because my food addiction, it came from my childhood trauma when I was a kid. And it really started with I had very strict parents. I couldn't really express myself. It was dictatorship. I was always being told what to do. I could never express myself in the way that I wanted to, which was art. You know, I wanted to do more than just sports. I wanted to get into art. And so, you know, there were just things that I couldn't really express. And so I would just eat because it made me happy, you know, or it made me feel better, or it made me feel like some type of contentment, but it was so temporary. And after a while, it just became a really bad habit. And then it's even worse when you think of Black culture, the scarcity mindset that's forced onto us at a very young age. You better eat all that food on your plate. You don't know when you're going to get your next meal and stuff like that. So it's just like at every freaking angle, right? You are targeted in a way that you have to rise above these things. You know, I have been a victim of a lot of things, but I try to heal from those things and not stay there. Because I could still use the excuse, well, you know, when I was a kid, you know, like I was forced to do this, or I had to deal with this, and so I'm just going to continue to live like that. You have to want to change. You have to want to self-improve, to live the life that you truly desired, that you truly deserve. Because the reality is, what you experienced in your childhood, you didn't ask for any of that. So it's like, why not get to a point in your adulthood where it's like, you know what? I'm going to make these changes. I'm going to do what I need to do to be happy and not allow my past to determine or narrate my future. And I tell you guys this all the time. Trauma, it comes in so many different forms. Don't allow it to narrate your future. You deserve to be happy. And when we think of Black women in luxury, it doesn't just start with materialism. It starts with your health. It starts with you taking care of yourself, self-care. It starts with you making your health a priority. It starts with fitness being a priority. And listen, I say fitness because fitness can be yoga. Fitness can be roller skating. Fitness can be walking. Fitness can be swimming. Fitness can be tennis. Fitness can be, if you still want to get into basketball or some type of recreational activity, you know, luxury is fitness. Luxury is health. Because when I was 17 years old, I will never forget how I went from being extremely healthy and fit and active and being a kid and being able to just get up and run and jump and just be happy to my health just deteriorating so fast over a knee injury. And how after that experience, I really look back like, dang, I took a lot for granted. And now I'm in a space where it's like, I never want to be back in that space, taking my health for granted. Every day that I breathe air through me, it's like making sure that I'm eating right. I'm trying to drink plenty of water and trying to do things that are just really better for me, you know. And it's not, I mean, everyone wants to make it about a waist size. Everyone wants to make it about looking a certain way, but for me, luxury, it really is health, and I'm never going to downplay that. I will say this though, you can't please everybody. You cannot, because even with the size that I am now, I still get a lot of criticism. I mean, I'm like, damn. I get a lot of criticism and I'm in the gym. You know what I mean? So it's like, make the journey about you. Don't make it about everybody else. And certainly don't make it about the world that we live in, because it contradicts itself constantly. People are so selective. People are so irrational and emotional because they can only understand from, you know, their perception or their experience. Like I said, it takes work to actually think farther than themselves, to think about other people. And I'm going to constantly remind them, like, listen, that's your experience, but that may not be the next person's experience. And don't downplay other people's experience just because you didn't experience it, you know. And that's something that I had to learn when it came to slim women. Like, not every slim woman out here, you know, they're not happy with their weight or their size. They would like to gain weight, you know. And when I came to that understanding, I just stopped judging people, period. I don't care if you fit the standard or not, you know. Just, why judge people? I don't get that. Hold on, I have a comment here. I'm doing good, Caitlin. How are you? Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Libby said, do you think that the article should have touched on other reasons why fat people do not go to the gym? Yeah, they could have. Girl, listen, hire me, because I could go into great detail about it. It cannot simply be that they are being made to feel uncomfortable at the gym. It's not, y'all. Like, it's not. I mean, think about it. If the world makes you uncomfortable, because I gave you so many examples, like, no one held the elevator for me. I could be in the lunchroom at my job and feel just the microaggression that I would get from people. Or say you're not at that level yet of choosing healthier options, right? You grab something that's unhealthy, right? Then you get these stares or you get these looks. Like, I'll never forget that. So, and it's like, okay, like, if I'm already getting judged for this, and this, you know, some people are just not at that level that, and I had to learn this in 2 waves. And I say 2 waves or 2 phases. Some people are just not at that level mentally because they're not in a good place mentally to rise above the victim mentality. So when I was younger, I was a rebel because my dad was just ridiculous. He was strict. He was hard on me. He would just make me go through just obstacles that he would create to make my life harder. And I grew up suburban, so it was just like, why are you making my life so hard when you don't, when it's just not necessary? And after a while, I'm like, this man is a bully. Like, every little thing that I do is being criticized, is being picked apart. Never heard the words, I'm proud of you, good job, da da da. I mean, there would just be moments in my childhood where I would literally try to break my damn neck just to get the approval of good job, kid. Or, because my dad never called me by my name. I won't say he never called me by my name, but he never really addressed me really by my name during this time. It would always be kid. So I would be like, dang, am I going to get a good job, kid, today? Or congratulations, kid? Or, like I would fish for those type of compliments. So this created a victim mindset in me. I was immature. I didn't know any better. I wasn't being I wasn't being evaluated, you know. And so, I think my dad doesn't know this, but when he used to call me kid and things like that, it came with this dictator or superior complex, which made me feel small, which did not help with my self-esteem. So, and this is stuff that I talk about in my therapy sessions, but this is why y'all need to go to therapy. But like I said, this experience, the victim mindset, came in two phases or two waves. The first one was, because I was treated like this in my childhood, I had the victim mentality, right? And so I would rebel up against my dad and I would go against what he would tell me to do, but it hurt me. It hurt me. It wasn't hurting anyone else. Of course it would make him mad. Of course it would piss him off, but it was hurting me. It hurt me. It wasn't hurting him. And it was ruining me because I would look up and I was rebelling up so much to the point where I didn't even know who I was. I was living two different lives. So that was one phase, right? That was the victim mindset that I had. And then there was a second victim mindset that I got into after I gained a bunch of weight, where it was just like, well, I'm already fat. People are already being hard on me. You know what? I'm going to just eat this and I'm going to just eat that. And I'm going to just, I'm not working out. And again, that victim mindset was hurting me. It wasn't hurting the people that were crucifying me with criticism and judgment. It was hurting me. Every time I went into the doctor's office, I had to answer to doctors and things like that about how concerned they were about my size and my weight and my high blood pressure, or the fact that I was heading down a path of chronic health conditions where I would have to take chronic medications every day just to live. I started to realize that this mindset was not helping me. And that's when I was like, you know what? Like the victim mentality, it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stagnant and it makes you miserable. And so this is when I was like, dang, this reminds me of when I was a kid and I was trying to rubble up against my dad. And I would just be out here doing dumb stuff, you guys, like getting caught at parties that would have drugs. Like, even though I wasn't doing drugs or I wasn't drinking or anything like that, just getting caught at a party like that could have ruined my D1 scholarship that I had at the time. And I think by that time, the party that I was at, just me being caught there could have ruined everything, and it was just like, but I went to the party knowing that there would be drugs there, knowing that there would be alcohol there. And at this time, I just wasn't a drinker. I wasn't a smoker or anything like that, because dare was real. Okay. I don't know about y'all, but dare was real. And as an athlete, it's like, you don't want to put the stress on you to get drug tested and all of that. So I really was not drinking at this time or smoking at this time, but I still attended parties and environments with people like that just to piss my father off, because that was the victim mindset that I had. And it's the same thing. Like when I gained all that weight, and I would binge eat emotionally, irrationally, to make myself feel better about the criticism and the judgment. It wasn't helping me. I had a victim mindset. I had a victim mentality. And it became out of, like, it got out of control. Like it got out of hand. And so after a while, I was like, dang, like I need to make this about me. I need to make this about me. And it was a mental switch, a mental change in my mind that, you know what, like all these people can say all of these things about me, but like I'm hurting myself. I'm not hurting them. I'm hurting me. And that's when I decided to change and really take my health, my fitness, my eating and all of that seriously. Like, I'm like, dang, like this is helping me. Like people, they can sit here and judge me and say all of these things, but it's like, I'm hurting me. And when you have that victim mindset, you can't have self-love. It's impossible, because you're not going to hurt yourself if you love yourself. You're going to do everything in your power to ensure that you're good, like that you're healthy, that you're taking care of yourself, like mentally, emotionally, and physically. And I also started to take on a more spiritual journey. So it was so much deeper than just size, even though that's all people cared about, people still care about it. They care about that more than anything. So when I got to that level of acknowledgement, self-evaluation, you guys, which I recommend for everybody, I realized that I was hurting myself. I wasn't hurting anyone, and that's what I want Lizzo to understand. Like, when she does do some of the antics that she does that I necessarily don't agree with, but I understand why she does the things that she does sometimes. Being that I was a former big girl, she has to get to that point where she has to understand that she's just hurting herself, that she's not hurting her critics. And I think she'll start to change once she comes to that conclusion. But listen, this is another thing. In society, we don't give people space and room to grow to get to that point. We don't even encourage them to get to that point or that way of thinking. We criticize, and then we call it constructive criticism. We don't even give, like how I'm literally giving constructive criticism right now. And do you see how I'm giving you guys verbatim, word for word, how you can overcome where you are at? I'm not just sitting here like, oh, you're overweight, you just need to lose some weight. And this is how family would talk to me. And I'm just like, you're not helping me. Like, I hope you know that. Like, you're not helping. You're not. And your weight loss journey, it may start with a healing journey. My whole glow up has been 360. I hate how everyone just wants to point out weight, size. Oh, she snatched. Like, girl, I had to heal from so much. And people just want to start and stop with that. And I'm always going to give you the full formula. And the full formula was 360. You have to change your mind. You have to change your mental. You have to change your eating. You have to make water important. I'm getting to a point within my fitness journey that water is symbolic of clarity. You can't have clarity if you're not drinking plenty of water. I can't come on here and fluently talk to you guys with my throat chakra if I'm not drinking enough water. And I've seen how within my spiritual journey that drinking more water allows my throat chakra to just be open. And I think you guys have seen a difference in my content. So, but everybody wants to make, this about some weight or an aesthetic or the standard or what's considered to be acceptable. It's annoying. I'm saving this live. I'm posting this live to my YouTube channel. I sure am. I'm like, listen, don't come at me sideways. And please, there was a girl, and yeah, I'm calling you out. There was a girl on my community tab on YouTube that tried to compare me to Kevin Samuels because she was projecting onto me about how I posted a linebacker to my community tab to show people that if we're really making this about health, this is unacceptable. Doesn't matter if he's getting paid or not. Because like I said, if he was to pass out or die from a heart attack, I guess it was all in good favor because he was getting that bread. No, not if you're making it about health. And that's what I'm saying. It's just so selective. Don't ever compare me to Kevin Samuels. Ever. I'm not Kevin Samuels. I'm not trying to be Kevin Samuels. I'm Yanni. So I just don't like it when people do that. And I'm like, you're projecting and making this about size. And I posted this about health because people keep saying, oh, well, you can't be healthy at a certain size. That is true, right? So there's no way this linebacker that's 400 and something pounds that's seen as acceptable among the masses because of Americanized sport called football, that this should be acceptable either, right? Okay. And I also use the example that, well, he's getting paid. I'm like, the girl on Self Magazine is a yoga instructor, a professional yoga instructor. She was on Good Morning America. She's an author. She was getting paid too. And see, that's what I'm saying. Y'all fake. And I'm like, listen, don't try to make me seem like I'm crazy because I keep the same energy. I'm not selective. If I believe that when you have morals and you have principles, you don't just switch up because it doesn't fit your narrative. You keep the same energy because you believe in the difference between right and wrong. And this is principle. This is morality. So you stick to it. You're not just going to switch up because it's like, oh, this don't fit my narration today. So you know what? Today, I'm just going to switch up. No, you don't do that. So I said what I said. And if you have a problem with it, then you just have a problem with it. You just have a problem with it. And I got men in my comment section. But he's a professional football player. Women are not. Are we making this about health or profession? Because she's a yoga instructor. Like, just say you're obsessed with size and keep it moving. You're obsessed with size on women at that. It's the same thing when you take the route of health and not size. Oh, wait, hold on. She said I brought the Amazon leggings and I love them. Listen, hands down, if you're a thicker girl and you don't want to have to worry about see-through leggings, those are your go-to. Those are your go-to. And I think they make you feel confident and make you feel sexy, as you should, for yourself when you are working out in the gym that you have to share with men, unfortunately, because America doesn't want to make all women's gyms. So, yeah, hopefully that helps you with your fitness journey. And listen, I'm not going to tell you to be a gym rat. I'm just not. The only reason why y'all see me in the gym was because I grew up an athlete. So being in the gym for 3 hours, that's normal. For some of you guys that, maybe sports was not really pushed on you as a kid, or maybe fitness was just not pushed on you as a kid, I don't expect for you to be in the gym for 3 hours. But to go walk in a park or roller skate or, I don't know, jump rope, do something fun. You don't have to be a gym rat. Like, just make getting active priority because you're taking care of yourself and you love yourself and you want the best for yourself. You want luxury. Luxury is good health and you should want that. And just leave it at that. I'm not going to be like, yeah, you need to be in the gym and you need to be bench pressing. You need to be getting on them squats. I'm never going to tell y'all that. I'm sorry. Do you ever struggle with inconsistency in your health journey? If so, how did you overcome it? There's levels to this. In the very beginning, I did. I struggled a lot. Because, even though my daddy was crazy, the man, he would be talking about some stuff that it made sense. And when I was an athlete, even when I was younger, I struggled with consistency. And he would always drill it in my head. Like after a game, them car rides when you an athlete, they be long, especially when you out of town, and them lectures be something else. And he would always be like, if only you just could be consistent. And so now, like within my journey, in the beginning, I struggled with this. I'm now at a point where my consistency is getting better. In the beginning, you're gonna fall off. But part of consistency in the beginning is not giving up. Winners don't quit. Winners lose, but winners don't quit. You get what I'm saying? And when you have that type of mentality, you somehow will find yourself being consistent. That's how you win. Like, it's not about, winners lose still, but they don't quit. That's the difference. So when you see my weight loss journey, it's not perfect. I'm not out here like, I wake up every day at 6 a.m. and I go to the gym and I have my protein. I mean, I see what you eat in a day, and that's why I haven't done it. I haven't done what I eat in a day because I'm just like, well, dang, what I do in a day, girl, it ain't nothing like this. Because some days, girl, it's all over the place. Because that's life. It's a mess. And sometimes it doesn't always go according to the way that you want. But you keep trying. And you don't quit. That's what makes you a winner. It's not, you have to be perfect and you're just going to get it right on the first try. I even had people judging me because exercises, I'm really being more intentional now with my fitness journey where I'm making sure my posture is correct. My form is good. We're not rushing through movements anymore in the gym. We're slowing down. We're taking our time. And we're really trying to get that form correct. Do you not understand when I first started, my form was terrible. I showed you some older workout videos, I'll be like, oh my God. But you know, those moments got me to this moment where I can be way more intentional with my workouts. In the beginning, I just needed to get moving, and I did that. And I can say I accomplished my goals during that time. I got moving. That's what really matters. How did I find my trainer? Instagram. I just looked up Houston trainers, and I just started going on Instagram. And you know what I was looking for? I was looking for women that look like me. I don't even really count how many of these that I go through a day, but I just try to just drink. One thing that I will recommend, if you drink, and I recommend drinking water at room temperature. If you drink this first thing in the morning, I don't know, it's like it gets things flowing in you. It's weird. I'm able to go to the bathroom earlier in the morning. I noticed that. And when I didn't drink water early, like I'm talking about like as soon as you wake up, it's almost like your system don't get going like it need to. But when you drink just one of these, make it a mission to just drink one in the morning, you'll start to see how, I don't know, your body, it's like you're waking up your system with water, which kind of makes sense because when you sleep for 8 hours out of the day, you know, your system is like shut down. So it's like drink one of these in the morning and you'll see a major difference. It definitely wakes your body up, for sure. Oh yeah, girl. Overweight men have a different experience than us in general. They don't get the same backlash. They don't. Because y'all, listen, I love me an overweight man. A husky man? Oh my God. I do. I love husky. Like, it's not a front. It's not fake. Like, I'm not trying to be body positive. I love men that, like, first of all, they keep you warm. That's number one. A lot of them know how to cook. My mama gonna be mad because I'm about to say it, but they know how to give you good, you know. They know how to eat, and really well. I mean, like, it's so many benefits, So, yeah, but they don't get the same. And I think a lot of that has to do with we women, we understand what it's like to pick ourselves apart about our weight. So some of us don't project that same energy onto men because we know the pressures that we feel in society. So we give them a lot of slack. But men, they lose weight easily. They don't have hormones that literally are going up against the fact that, no, you need to keep that weight because you're here to bear children. They don't have to deal with that type of stuff. So they put pressure on us women. And it's just like, you're not a woman, you don't really understand. And I really don't expect for them to understand. That's why I don't compare myself to men, like, at all. The worst thing that we ever did as women through the feminist movement was trying to compete or compare ourselves to men when it's just not realistic. This is going to be my last question. Somebody said, which diet, low carb or calorie deficient? I'm doing the calorie counting now. I started out with low carb. I recommend that you start out just simple. Make substitutions. Go low carb. Start, just focusing on how many carbs you're taking, making sure you're not going over that because that can make a big difference because my body processes carb like it's pure sugar. So I have to be limited on my carb intake. But now I'm calorie counting. I never thought I'm calorie counting. But it's easy because I do meal prep. And my meal prep chef, he does the calorie count for me. He puts the label on top. Boom, bam, good to go. But that's luxury for me. I don't have to carb count. I just eat the meals and then that's it. So on that note, you guys, I'm going to log out. I will see you guys tomorrow. I want to do my Fresh and Fit video tomorrow, Thursday. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.